Hello everyone. We are here to look upon the first goal from the Sustainable Development Goals, which is no poverty. What is poverty? The state of one who lacks the usual or socially acceptable amount of money or material possession, and exists when people lack the means to satisfy their basic needs, such as food, health, or accommodation, or defined as narrowly as those necessary for survival, or as broadly as those reflecting the prevailing standard of living in the community. This photo shows the Sudanese children posing for a photo at a tent in Khartoum, Sudan. The poverty rate of children is twice as high for adults, which emphasizes that 1 in 3 children are poor, while for adults 1 in 6, according to a UN report. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said that children are more than twice as likely to live in extreme poverty than adults. According to the UN's 2019 MPI Index, released in July, more than 1.3 billion people around the world live in extreme poverty. Nearly half of them are children, and 32% are younger than 10. The UN estimates that more than 886 million people who are living in poverty live in middle-income countries.
SDG 1 targets. 1.1 Eradicate extreme poverty. By 2030, eradicate extreme poverty for all people everywhere, currently measured as people living on less than $1.25 a day. 1.2 Reduce poverty by at least 50%. By 2030, reduce at least half by the proportion of men, women, and children of all ages living in poverty in all its dimensions according to national definition. 1.3 Implement social protection system. Implement national appropriate social protection system and measure for all, including floor, and by 2030 achieve substantial coverage of the poor and the vulnerable. 1.4 Equal right to ownership, basic services, technology, and economic resources. By 2030, ensure that all men and women, in the particular the poor and the vulnerable, have equal right to economic resources, as well as access to basic services, ownership and control over land, and other forms of property, inheritance, national resources, appropriate new technology, and financial services, including microfinance.
Build resilience to environmental, economic, and social disaster. By 2030, build the resilience of the poor and those in vulnerable situations and reduce their exposure and vulnerability to climate-related extreme events and other economic, social, and environmental shocks and disasters. Mobilize resources to implement policies to end poverty. Ensure significant mobilization of resources from a variety of sources, including through enhanced development cooperation, in order to provide adequate and predictable means for developing countries, in particular developed countries, to implement programs and policies to end poverty in all its dimensions. Gender-sensitive policy frameworks. Create some policy frameworks in the national, regional, and international levels based on pro-poor and gender-sensitive development strategies to support accelerate.
Now we are going to see the COVID-19 impact. The SDG aimed to end world poverty by 2030, but it was off track due to the COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 pandemic caused the drastic rise of global poverty, with more than 71 million people having been pushed to extreme poverty. The new research published by the UNU World Institute of Development Economic Research warns that the economic fallout from the global pandemic could increase global poverty by as much as half of a billion people, or 8% of the total human population. Now, what can we do to reduce poverty? If you're a young person, your active engagement in policy making can make a difference in addressing poverty, to ensure that your rights are promoted and that your voice is heard. Innovation and critical thinking are encouraged at all ages to support the transformation changes in people's lives and communities. If you're part of the science and academic community, science provides the foundation for new and sustainable approaches, solutions, and technology to tackle the challenges of reducing poverty and achieving sustainable development. If you're a policymaker, government can help create an enabling environment to regenerate productivity, employment, and job opportunity for the poor. They can formulate strategy and a future policy that stimulate pre-poor growth and reduce poverty.